seconds left. Pierce with 3. Pierce with 2. Pierce fall away at the horn. It's gone! Paul Pierce does it again as the Wizards win 103-101. How's that for a finish?
Did you call bank? I called game.
Did you call bank? I called game. All right, so obviously Paul Pierce dropping the mic after that. They currently lead the series against the Hawks. And it doesn't look as if the Hawks are going to be able to make it out of the Stephen A. But let me ask you about Paul Pierce. Does this make the Wizards a legitimate title threat?
No, it does not. Paul Pierce is the truth. It's the truth and a half. He's no joke. He's a closer. We understand that, and he's a champion. You know why he's there. You know why he's there.
That's why they brought him.
That's why they brought them, and that's why they brought him there. But here's the thing. This series is not over. Atlanta could very well win tonight. Washington's got to keep their guards up. If John Wall were healthy, there's no question in my mind Washington has this series. They beat Atlanta no matter what. They go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they could very well go to the finals because they could beat this Cleveland team without Love, with an injured Kyrie Irving. The Washington Wizards are equipped to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron, especially with Paul Pierce trying to close like he always does and the way he loves going up against LeBron. The problem is that the absence of John Wall leaves an incredible hole because John Wall has improved tremendously as a point guard. His athleticism is off the charts. His speed is off the charts. And he plays on both ends of the floor. He's a problem. He was a problem for Kyle Lowry. He was a problem for Jeff Teague in Game 1. John Wall can do some special things. And without him, he's their floor general and their catalyst. They are a different team with him. They played incredibly hard in game 3 without him, and they're to be commended for that. They're going to have their work cut out for them tonight as well because I don't think Atlanta's going to go away that easily. But even if they were to win this series against Atlanta, I don't consider them a legitimate title threat unless John Wall can play. And with those 5 fractures in his hand and his wrist, I don't know if he's going to be back. And even if he's come back, he's going to be limited in what he can do. I just don't know. I really, really don't.
So if he does not play tonight, you think Atlanta wins on a away game?
I think that's Atlanta's chance to win the series. I don't think anybody could go down 3-1. This is not the 76ers against Larry Bird, McHale, and the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Atlanta's not that type of team that can come back from a 3-1 deficit. I don't believe they will. So they have to win tonight in order to win this series.
Yeah. Earlier in the show, I called the Derrick Rose shot lucky because I think he called it lucky. I know his teammates called it lucky. I have so much respect for Paul Pierce as a clutch closer, clutch shooter, that he might have called bank on that shot. I'm not sure that was a lucky shot. Even though it went off the glass, he had to extend a little bit, and he can't jump very well. But to get it up over 2 hands, maybe he needed to bank it in. He called game maybe because he decided at the last second, I got to arc this a little bit and bank it in. There's nobody better at closing a basketball game than this guy. And I love to listen to Doc Rivers talk about him because he just knows how to play. Doesn't look great, doesn't look the best, doesn't look like he's in the best shape, but man, he just plays.
He knows how to play, and he's a winner. He's a winner, and he challenged Bradley Beal and John Wall before the playoffs began. Do you want to be good or do you want to be great? Here's what it's going to require. He's a veteran leader. You look at his line, 5 of 12 shoot from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point range, just 12 points, 13 points and 7 rebounds. That's not how you measure Paul Pierce. You measure Paul Pierce by what you see Beal and a Wall giving you. You measure Paul Pierce about how Nene finally showed up and did something, finishing with 17-7 after being absent the first 2 games, because you know Paul Pierce has something to say about him. You judge Paul Pierce about what happens when it's time to close. It was Paul Pierce that grabbed the ball, and before he turned around, he yelled, "Get out!" Like, get out of here to Beal him. Get away. I got this. That's what you do when you are a winner. And this is who Paul Pierce is, and has proven himself to be.
He set the tone before that first playoff series against Toronto by saying the Raptors don't have it, and it got under their skin, it got in their heads, and they didn't have it.
I will say this to you. Are you ready for this, Skip? As crazy as this may sound, I'm not veering too far off the subject.
Maybe.
But if Kevin Garnett had joined Pierce and gone to D.C.,
yeah, it would have been nice.
They'd be a title contender then. Let me tell you why. Because you're going to have somebody that can defend, who's long, who understands how to play the game. And Marcin Gortat and Nene, with their periodical or sporadic play.
If Wall's healthy.
If Wall was healthy, they'd be more consistent.
That because you might be making a commentary on Darren Williams, but I'm just throwing that out.
Yes, because I'm just telling you that those guys are leaders in a locker room.
Yep.
And when I see Paul Pierce, I did find myself wishing that Kevin Garnett was right there in that locker room with him. I really did.
Yeah.
Last quick thought on the Atlanta Hawks. For whatever reason, they have not been the same since they lost Cephalosha to that whatever incident that occurred in the middle of the night in New York City. And I don't know if it hurt their psyche. It obviously, he wasn't a huge loss just as a player, though he's a great defender. But they have not looked the same to me, which is why I think they are really teetering tonight, because with Paul Pierce maybe leading the way again, I don't know. I think Washington home, they could really put them in a hole.
I think Washington is going to win tonight.
I do too.
All right, so Wizards Hawks, game 4 tonight in D.C., 7 o'clock. Also, Wizards head coach says John Wall's hand is moving in the right direction. The swelling isn't there, but no timetable as to when he is going to return. I don't know if you guys heard about that. It was a bunch of buzzer beaters this weekend, Stephen A. Lebron, he scrapped the play and won the game. Final thoughts in just a few moments, guys. We'll be right back.
Wasn't no buzzer beater in L.A.
No, it was a snooze.
First Take is presented by Chase, celebrating small business. Learn more at chase.com/smallbusinessweek. And in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. See car insurance in a whole new light.
Yesterday, LeBron made his 3rd career playoff game-winning buzzer beater, matching the number of playoff buzzer beaters Michael Jordan posted in his career, FYI. This shot, though, let's rank it, Stephen A. Where does it rank among LeBron's big shots, Will?
I haven't really thought about it. I would say off the top of my head, it would be number 2 on the list. That game, whether it's game 6 or 7, when in the finals, when he hit a big-time 3, he had missed one, but then he had made another. Because ultimately you're going to lose the finals to the San Antonio Spurs if he doesn't make one of those threes. I think those were big moments in the clutch games. But yesterday rather, obviously may have been the biggest one. I don't count the one against Orlando nearly as much as everybody else, because that was a game, but they ultimately lost that series. They underachieved throughout that series. That was you winning a game after you had lost game 1, and you had to make sure you didn't lose game 2. And Dwight Howard was there in Orlando with Pietrus and Jameer Nelson and Turkoglu, and those boys were just hitting threes from all over the place. But yesterday, to me, won this series for Cleveland. So I would have to put it right there with one of those threes he made in the finals against San Antonio a couple of years back.
I don't know where to rank it yet. I need to see if they do go ahead and close this deal, because, as you point out, LeBron has had a history of making these shots, as he did at the end of Game 2 against Orlando back in '09, and they went right down to Orlando and lost the next 2 games after the shot heard around the world that we talked about for seemed like 48 straight hours on ESPN. Then they lost the next 2, and they lost that series in 6. And then the other buzzer beater was just that left-handed layup he shot against Indiana in the first round, or it wasn't the first round, but in the 2013 playoffs, Game 1 is what I was trying to say. And Hibbert wasn't in the game, remember that?
Yep.
Okay. And then from that point, it took 7 games to eliminate the Indiana Pacers, and then it went to the finals you speak of, the 2013 ill-fated finals for me. And LeBron actually missed the 3. I understand what you mean. He made one,
yes,
but he missed the next one with 8 seconds left that should have been the end of the series for them. And what happened? Chris Bosh somehow got the rebound because Tim Duncan wasn't in the game at that point, and then he kicked it into the corner. Perfect pass right on rhythm, and Ray Allen went straight up. Made sure he got his feet behind the 3-point line.
Right, you sure?
And boom. And again, I thought LeBron made a huge shot late in Game 7 against the had their hearts ripped out San Antonio Spurs, but remember, he made a big jump shot. Remember, Popovich is over there saying, back off him, just let him shoot those jump shots, and he made one over Kawhi that put them up 4 late in that game. Remember, it was, so that was That was a big shot to me. I thought LeBron's free throws that he made against Oklahoma City in that turning point game 2, remember that?
Throws, yep.
Yeah, big free throws. So I need to see, but I'm with you. This was a shot that he shot with the most conviction of any shot I've ever seen him shoot, and it did turn the series if they can in fact handle their business.
If they close the deal against Chicago, we will remember.
Yeah. I mean, you could look at it as the shot of the whole playoffs.
All right, and Stephen A., as we close, let me get your picks again for the night. Are we saying Wizards Warriors as your winners?
Yes, we are.
You're going Warriors too.
They have to. If they will lose the series if they don't win this game.
Okay. I'll go Wizards Warriors also for sure.
You guys are on the same page with that?
Yeah.
All right. Stephen A., you're not going to any game, so they don't really matter. So we don't have to talk about them tomorrow?
Well, I mean, they matter. They matter. It just matters more when I roll in the house. That's all. But they matter no matter what.
Okay.
It's just that it's special when I arrive.
We'll talk
Because you know I ain't
about it.
wasting time for scrub games. I don't have time for that.
10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2, the forever humble Stephen A.
Yes.
Very humble Skip Bayless.
That's
Not so
debatable.
much?